Hey everybody, this is Heartless Spartan with another 1/6 scale Toy Talk review. Today, I have both the Dragon and Dreams United States Civil War Union Army Lieutenant John Dunbar set and the Civil War Brown Warhorse set. So these two sets come separately. I ordered them and I am reviewing them together because they give us the characters of Kevin Costner's John Dunbar and his horse Cisco from the film Dances with Wolves. Another favorite movie of mine for a long time now. As soon as I saw these two available for order, I didn't hesitate to get them. Now, Cisco is fairly large in 1/6 scale, so my camera range may be a bit wider than normal for some shots. I'll also be using parts and a figure from a TB League Mohegan Hunter figure for a couple shots in this review. I would love to see some Lakota Sioux stuff, but it was the closest thing I had. Now, there is also a video of me piecing together John Dunbar and Cisco that's linked in the description. Without further delay, let's get into the review. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of open up our boxes here, and then I'll take all the parts out, and then we'll go over each piece from both boxes, and I'll let you know which is from which. John's stuff will be on one side, and Cisco's things will be on the other. So if I actually move Cisco's box out of the way here, I'll open up John's real quick. So his has the nice modern DiD magnetic cover. Comes off nice and easy. The very nice background on the other side of that. I do like that. Nice character portrait there. Now that slides out. And just have some basic figure instructions on the other side. Those are fairly standard. Then we've got this foam piece on the top. Then reveals our figure here. And I see the blue tabs, so we're going to have another layer under this one as well. So I'm going to lay that down, grab the blue tabs, pull that out. Now this is like a loose strap underneath, so if you let go of one side, it's going to slide out. And then underneath that, we have his officer's coat and his Union jacket. Very nice. And that's the bottom layer. Actually going to throw that back in there real quick. I'm going to show you what Cisco looks like out of the box. So I slid this out. It's a very thick foam piece. And this foam cover here. Now Cisco does not come with any of the weapons. So if you want any of the weapons pictured with Cisco, then you'd have to get John as well. Just watch out for this little baggie here. It's kind of floating around loose in there. And of course, these foam pieces pop out. And then there's foam pieces in between his legs as well. But what I'm going to do now is go ahead and take all the parts out. I'm going to quick cut so you don't have to wait through that. And then we'll go over each piece. Okay, so I have both sets, everything from both sets set out right now. I've kind of got Cisco's things off to the left, or at least the things that came with Cisco, and the rest of it was John Dunbar's. Okay, but we're actually going to take a look at John first, mainly because if I start going through the stuff, my camera's going to keep trying to lock on a old Kevin Costner here. So let's take a good look at him. He's got a good amount of detail in his face. I like how the light shines off the eyes on there, too. Just got a little bit of, you know, like hair detail where it'd start growing back around for his beard. I mean, that's pretty cool. At first I thought it was dirt, but yeah, there's actually just like a little bit of that detail on his face there, which is pretty great. And his hair is styled very nicely. Painted very well. I mean, for that head sculpt, it looks really good. And if we take a look at his, I don't know if this is the shell jacket or if it's that coat back there. I think that's just the officer's cape and coat back there. This might be the shell jacket. Can we zoom in on his buttons here? You can see the eagles on his buttons. I think all of the, or maybe not. Okay, never mind. They made it nice and easy on us. We didn't have to thread all of those through his vest. And even though that maybe doesn't hide those buttons too well, like I honestly didn't even notice the little buttons on the back side until I kind of turned the figure. So they're hidden well enough. Oh, he's got the bendy hands already attached. We'll talk about those in a little bit. He's got his trousers on with a nice little yellow line nicely sewn into there, going all the way down to his cavalry boots. Which actually appear to be like I think those are actually leather too, yeah. Want to be just a little bit careful about posing those because this will start to crack if you do that a little bit too much, and they'll age over time. Oh man, there's even detail on the bottom. Oh, those look nice. Even has like the border stitching through like the pretend leather there. That's cool. That was a nice detail. Like they didn't have to do that, but like they made that look good. Oh, yep. It's got some button on his sleeves too. All right. Articulation wise, we can go through that real quick. I mean, his uniform's fairly plain without all the stuff on it, but articulation, good head roll, up and down, turning. So I mean that's ball jointed on the swivel. So pretty good head movement. Arms are going to be limited really only by the outfit that he's wearing. So he can get pretty good articulation depending on kind of how you dress him up. Same thing with the other side. I really wish DiD would start including extra wrist pegs with their sets, though. I love the detail, but please include some quality of life stuff like that. Any kind of torso. Oh, there we go. So that's on a ball joint too. I think it's actually got two joints there too, and like one up here and then one down just above the hips. Then legs. Very good leg articulation. And the feet. You want to be wary of that cracking there. So, the usual good articulation for the DiD figure. Alright, so I'm going to have to set John off to the side and just kind of go through his gear. Alright, so first we'll take a look at his Union vest here. Has more of the eagle buttons. Looks like it has like the modern buttons holding it in, so we don't have to thread all of those. But this is very nice quality here. It's kind of nice to hold it. It's thin, but it looks really good. Little strap on the back there. Although this looks a little bit modern right here. That bugs me a little bit. But normally that's going to get covered up anyways. So that looks fairly nice. He did come with a set of actual cloth gloves here. Now these aren't going to go on the hands like this. Well, yeah, no, they're not going to go on there. These are best suited, like these cavalry gloves here, these are best suited for the bendy hands that are actually on the figure. Because these fingers can actually be kind of spread and bent to kind of pose however you want. So you actually can quite easily get the gloves onto these hands. And that's probably what I'd use these for most of the time, is once I get the gloves on these hands, I'd probably just leave the gloves on there. Just because it takes a little bit of work to do that. But, yeah, very nice cloth gloves. They have that, I think they've got that color kind of pretty close to what we want it to be, that kind of golden yellow color. I kind of wish I knew a little bit more historically about the colors and the military equipment and what, age and era some of the stuff is from, but that's just not my area of expertise. We've got some kind of shoulder straps that'll kind of go over his shoulders and strap around the front. I'll have to look into exactly how and where those go on. We've got a nice red sash here. It's a very nice, smooth material. A very nice, bright red color. I like it. The tassels aren't all messed up on these either. Those look really nice on both ends. So let's hope we can make that last. Now this officer's coat and the little cape cloak. Huh, okay, so it's like one piece. Yeah, that looks really cool. This feels like a nice material. I was thinking it might have been two-tone inside the coat too. Oh, but there is that additional material. Man, that is nice. I kind of get a little bit jealous over these figures about how nice their outfits are. It's like, man, I kind of want a coat like that. But this cape actually does have one of those little bendy wires going through it all the way around on this bottom edge here. It does not have one going up. So just be aware that you can bend and pose that. But I have the feeling if we do that too much, this is really going to make this look kind of weird. So we'll see how that works out when I start posing things for montage. But that is a very nice coat. Oh, okay, this bottom piece has a wire in it too. In the very bottom. So you can pose that to where it's like holding out or blowing in the wind, however you want to make that look. However, on here, it does not have the modern buttons on the back. I am going to have to be threading those. So that's going to be interesting doing that. That's going to take me a while. All part of the hobby, though. All right. That's my hat. Hey, that's my hat. All right, John. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's a Hardee Hat. I'm not exactly sure what these stand for. Someone's going to have to probably let me know in the comments there. But it's a very nice hat. I'd wear that hat. I've got a hat kind of like this, except I have brown leather wrapped around it with beads and some, well, they're fake, but they're like fake eagle claws. Or eagle claws. They're just like talons. Fake ones, not real ones. That would be legal. But, yeah, I've kind of got a hat like that. It's a very nice hat. It is kind of like a somewhat malleable rubber, so it can take a little bit of bending, but I think that'll actually fit nicely onto the top of his head. Then we have a nice actual like genuine leather holster. Just be aware that the more times you pop these little pegs out through the leather, the more it'll start to weaken the leather. And over, the more times you do it like this little leather piece is going to start to tear. So just be aware that you might not want to do that too many times. And it's got a little slide on the back for his belt. So I'm going to look at these two. I'm not sure which is which, but I'm going to assume that this one is the Cartridge Box. Again, it has one of those little leather peg holes on there, so again, you got to kind of worry about using that too much. Let's pop that out of there, and then that will actually open up, and it has these little fabric slots in there to actually slide some cartridges into there, or bullets. Then it's got the little slides on the back for it to go onto his belt. Now here's a smaller version of it. I'd probably call this one the pouch. Open this one up. This one they just have to set right in there. There's no little fabric holders in there. And then a little slide on the back for his belt as well. Let's take a look here. So here he's got one of the Union belts. Very nice eagle sculpted onto there. I think that might actually be made out of a light metal right there. And I like that it's actually got those olive branches, right? Colored silver on there too. That looks awesome. Then we got a bit of a shoulder strap, I think. And then a genuine black leather belt, which looks very nice. Then over here we have an officer's parade belt. Again, we get a very nice buckle. Maybe I can try zooming in on it this time a little better. Whoop. Camera skipped on me. There we go. So that looks really nice. Okay. But got that cool kind of black and yellow colors there. Then I think these straps are actually for the scabbard for the sword. Oh. So speaking of the officer's cavalry sword, now even just picking this up, yeah, there's the little loops to hook those straps onto there. Even just picking this up, it feels metal. So we'll slide that out. Take a look at that. Like, it's not sharp. It has a slightly beveled edge to it. But, like, I'm not going to cut myself on it. The end is quite pointy, though, so just be careful with that. And, yeah, I mean, it's not super tough, but it can take a little bit of bend before, like, you end up either bending it or snapping it in any way. Then that handle is a very nice finish and paint job on there, which looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and slide that back in there. It is a little bit loose inside of that, like it's not super tight. All right. So I would call this a spyglass, but they call it a single barrel telescope. Now you can't like actually see through it. It's plastic at this end, and then at the other end it has this little clear piece, but then it's solid plastic behind that. It is not telescopic at all, but it does have this little brown paint on there to kind of look a little bit leatherish, like a leather wrapping on the one tube there. But I do like that they included that. Now is always an interesting scene when they're looking at the buffalo with that. Alright, so here's something interesting. We actually get his journal. Now, I have not opened this yet. So let's actually take a look at what's in here. Whoop. Well, it doesn't look like he quite started his the log and sketches of his journey yet, though. He is dances with wolves. He is in love with stands with a fist. All right. Or at this point, because he's still got all his cavalry stuff from the Union Army, I would say he's not yet dances with wolves. Okay. All right, so here we have an M1860 Henry rifle. It is made of, I do believe, wood and metal. Yep, wood and metal. Then it has this nice detailing on it. It has a little bit of weight to it. This end actually surprisingly, probably because of the wood, feels a little bit lighter than the barrel here. I don't think any part of this is actually going to swing, though. Okay, so it actually kind of does. So the little knob there can actually kind of... I can actually get it to turn. I don't know if it's supposed to. For now, I can just push that out to the side, and this will actually swing down. The trigger does not bend. Let me put that back up under there. And this part doesn't really do anything either. The hammer. And it doesn't look like there's anything that can be done with that. Oh. You can raise the sight, though. Maybe help you get that final shot in to take down a dangerous buffalo. A little bit of detailing in the end there. Take a quick look at the other side. Oh, does this... It's got this little metal piece under here that kind of slides around a little bit down on the bottom here. Not exactly sure what that is for, but it's interesting. All right, so up next is the Colt 1851 Navy revolver, which is also metal. Let's see, kind of checking the functions. So the chamber will spin. The hammer can be cocked. The trigger can't be pulled, though. I'm not seeing any mechanisms to kind of open this up to where, like, this comes out or that slides out. I don't want to pry on it too much. But it's got a couple of little functions there. Not a ton of extra detail on there, though. It's a fairly plain revolver there. Alright. Next. Looks like we have some of the lieutenant's rank insignia here. Lieutenant. Cavalry symbol. Some of the 3M double-sided fabric glue tape right there to help stick those on. Then we have a number of cartridges. Honestly, I don't know enough about firearms or anything to really know what caliber those would be. But actually, those actually do feel like metal too. They got a little bit of weight to them. So that's actually pretty nice. And they give us plenty of them to go into those little pouches too that they gave us. Then lastly, other than his bendy hands, comes with like left and right sort of trigger hands. Have a fair amount of detail on there. Some veins, a little bit of skin on the knuckles there. some detailing on the palms. Got a little bit of a casting mark across the palm there, though. But not like we really look at the palms very often. And a couple more variations here. So I'm wondering, one of these might be more suited to the revolver, and then the other one more suited to the rifle. So this one's where the finger's out further. Yeah, that's going to be for the rifle there. And then this other one, it's a little bit closer, and the hand's a little bit tighter. That's going to be for his revolver. And those are actually held in there fairly well, too. So them doing the different trigger hands actually kind of made sense and turned out fairly well. Up next is Cisco and the accessories that came with them. Now Cisco, it's a little bit heavy here. I'm not exactly sure how to fit him into the camera here. I've only ever reviewed one other horse in this scale, but Cisco, his leg doesn't bend, his head doesn't turn or anything like that. But I mean, he does look fantastic. The paint job is just great on him. Yeah, he's kind of packing, but yeah, the paint job on the legs and the hooves and just the sculpt with the hair. I mean, it looks fantastic. I mean, it's a good looking horse figure. Even a little bit of detailing in the paint and the sculpting around the mouth there too. Of course, the hair is nice and soft. It's a little bit posable. When I first took him out of the package, I kind of had to brush this off to the side because it was all up in the tack. But then I did notice something about his tail. His tail has a solid strip kind of going through here, but it is malleable, so you can bend it to your liking. I just wouldn't pull on it too much because we don't want that snapping off at his rear there. But you can kind of pose his tail a little bit. Now, the tack was already on him this way, kind of thankfully, because I didn't want to have to try to research that to try to figure out how to put that on there properly. Because unfortunately, I only have so much time to spare on my hobbies. We've got some nice stirrups here, and then these are nice and solid on the inside here. This is well, it's a very nice horse blanket. But yeah, I mean, that is actually nice and soft. That horse blanket with the Union colors. And then I think the saddle is actually resin, but then the straps are leather. All of the straps are leather. I was about to say, oh, these look metal, but they're actually just kind of a somewhat malleable resin, but they're very well painted. We've also got the United States logo on there, or emblem, I should say. Oh, up here too. I think that's plastic though, but it looks good. And it actually had me fooled at first because that really does look nice and shiny like a piece of metal, but it's not. But there we have a good look at Cisco. Good horse. Unless you get out of your pen, then you're a bad horse. Right? Bad horse. All right. You might have noticed that Cisco, I'm not exactly sure what side it's supposed to be on. I'm going to have to look up pictures from the film, which side is supposed to have the U.S. kind of stenciled on his flank there. And then it looks like it comes with a little extra button just in case we lose one from somewhere. Okay. Looks like he comes with a set of what I'd call saddlebags. Seem to be a nice leather. I'd say these slide out, but you know what? I can't tell if they quite stuffed anything in there, but you know what? They look like they might be packed with a little bit of something. But it's not actual stuff. It's just maybe a piece of foam, or I'm just feeling the excess leather from when they sewn it together. But those do look very nice. I can't just be thrown over Cisco there. I don't know if that's where you'd actually put them. I'd have to look into that. He did come with Canteen as well. A little bit of fabric over it. Yeah, it's very light, so I'm pretty sure this is just plastic underneath the fabric. But it's a nice little addition. Strap that onto his tack somewhere, maybe. Alright, so then we have some sort of like a little blanket, but then we have like a travel sack here that's kind of coiled up with the straps here. For traveling, that can be added to onto Cisco there. And then we have like a bedroll as well, which I think is just some nice, fairly nice material of white fabric strapped together. Very nicely rolled up. I don't think I would want to undo that, just because I don't think I'd be able to get it back onto there as nicely without a lot of effort. And then we have a holster, a writing holster for the Henry rifle, with some straps and that on there to hook onto the side of Cisco. But that seems to be leather as well. So how easily does that fit into there? Quite. Oh yeah, that went in nice and easy. Cool. But even though on Cisco's box it shows the end of the rifle sticking up, this does not come with Cisco. This comes with John. So if you want both of these things together, you have to get both sets. Then, last but not least, comes with a nice period flag. There were a few historical inconsistencies. I don't know if the number of the stars on here is accurate or not, but I think it's actually might be accurate to the film at least. But it's a nice inclusion for this American Union flag. I honestly am not familiar with this one. I'm more familiar with like the World War II 48 states flag than I am with anything prior to that. So that one's a little bit new for me. Alright, so I mean, that's all that stuff. It's a very cool set. Cisco looks amazing. The accessories look pretty good. I like that. Quite a few of them are metal. I really do enjoy the genuine leather accessories. And I'm kind of jealous of John's hat and coat. Altogether, it looks awesome. I'll get the stuff put together. I'll have my assembly video kind of linked down in the description as like a separate thing you can watch if you really want to, of me just, taking my time and putting this stuff together. But for now, I'll have everything together and we can get into a montage. John Dunbar and Cisco are fantastic figures. They look so much like they did in the film and come with a nice plethora of accessories that relate directly back to the movie. John's journal, for instance, is included even though there's nothing written in it. It's nice to have as an important item that shifted the story in another direction. The American Civil War uniform and gear are very nice and offer a wide range of display options and outfits for John Dunbar. I really only got frustrated when piecing these sets together when it came to tying and affixing many of the belts and straps these figures came with. Thankfully, Cisco came with his tack already on. There is one piece I omitted from adding on, which was the US decal for Cisco. I'm not accustomed to those, and I don't know how I was supposed to put that on, but even with tweezers, when peeling the decals, they just tore apart and I moved on. Not the largest detail to leave out, but it is one that's still part of Cisco's character. Otherwise, when strapping everything together, I didn't necessarily know where everything was supposed to go. I just tried to make it look good. However, these sets don't really come with anything that let you set up John Dunbar, not Dunbar, as Dances with Wolves with any sort of garb or gear he received from the Lakota. Though overall, I am extremely happy with these sets of figures, and I highly recommend them as a fan of Dances with Wolves. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment. These figures crack the door for other figures and sets to be made. Would you like to see some of the Lakotas be made as well? Like Kicking Bird, Wind in His Hair, Stands with a Fist, or 10 Bears. We can see that the traditional Native American figures can be made like that TB League Mohegan figure. I would like to see that so long as they can be made with a degree of accuracy and respect. This has been Heartless Spartan. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.